as you know, in high school, thinking I'm going to a Christian college next year. One of my textbooks is going to be a Bible. How cool is that going to be? I'm going to walk into a classroom and open up the Word and bust into it. But the danger therein is that they can become just that, just a textbook, and something that you kind of put on the shelf in your regular devotion times, which I think can be a product of being on the road and being surrounded. You're going to churches and you're proclaiming truth hopefully every night, and you're surrounded by believers, and it can kind of become your job. And so I try to find that routine every day, and we as of now what we're doing is we'll meet about an hour before we go on stage, and we'll get together, the four of us, we'll sit on the bus or in the dressing room or whatever, and just say, how's everybody doing? We'll talk, and I'll open up the Word or a devotion that someone's been laid on their heart. And sometimes it does. It feels like that Happy Meal. And sometimes we're late, and sometimes I have a meet and greet to get in 15 minutes. So it's like, okay, guys, we got 15 minutes. How's everyone doing? Let's pray. Okay, I gotta go. But it's focusing, and it's nice to get together at least a little bit. And it's nice to have that community. You have a built-in community of friends who you can hold each other accountable and be there for each other. It can be a good thing.
Very good. Question here?
I'm Beth. I'm from Bloomington, Illinois, where it was 0 when we left. University, it was cold outside. I was wondering, you guys are so instrumental in bringing my family closer together and helping our whole family stay so Christ-focused when we listen to you guys on the radio. I'm so indebted to you. I was wondering how you manage to keep your families rock solid while you're on the road so often, and I was wondering if you take them with you, and if that makes you even stronger as a family, or if it makes it more difficult.
I know with Mercy Me, we've been blessed to get to a point in our career where we can say no a lot of times and be really picky and choosy about different shows. And so we only do about 90 to 95 shows a year, which is not even every weekend. And so we're rarely gone more than 4, maybe 5 days at a time from our families. And so we go to great lengths to be home as much as possible. And like around Christmas, we usually take December and usually January off, and we're just real protective of our time at home. Sometimes we don't know if it's the most beneficial thing from a business standpoint, but I don't think there's anything more beneficial than keeping our family in focus. But not every artist has the privilege of doing that. We realize that. We went from 94 till about 2002 or 3 having to do 200, 250 dates a year. And so fortunately for most of that, we were single. When we got married, it was like, oh man, I know God's called me to love my wife and do this, but somehow we got to figure out how they work together. And fortunately, God's come through for us to where it's still a challenge, but there are definitely artists that are having a more difficult time than we are right now. But we try to be home every week, so it's pretty crucial for Mercy Me to function properly.
Okay, got a question here. Name and city.
Glenn from Salem, Oregon. My question is, we don't like to think about it, but if this was your last day, what would the song be that you want to be remembered by, like Rich Mullins and Awesome God?
I would be If We Are the Body by Casting Crowns. That's the one.
Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams.
I can't top either one of those. The Macarena.
I think We Built This City. You know that song? On rock and roll?
Yeah. Jefferson Starship.
Jefferson Starship.
Okay.
We need a serious answer.
I was going to say, in the name of being the boring guy, I'll give you an answer.
I can only imagine.
I can only imagine. That's my serious answer. Sir, I guess you don't have a microphone anymore, so just give me a thumbs up if my first question is right. Do you mean like if this is my last day alive?
Yeah.
Or last day, like no one buys my CDs anymore?
Pretty much the same thing.
Not true. Yeah, on that note, while we bring that up, even though I was in jest, I think that's one thing that's kind of helped me through here is living every day as if it were my last day that someone would buy a CD. In the occupational sense, I also try to. I mean, if I were to live every day as if it were my last day alive, I'd probably go visit every one of my relatives. I'm not going to do that every day of my life. But just to have that kind of mindset, like, you know what, who I am and how God values me, who I am as a person is not defined by whether or not you guys buy my CDs or not, frankly. And I have to remind myself that every day, because when I see a bad review, or when someone comes up in line and says, hey, you know, Shane, I love your songs. My name's Aaron, sorry, but thank you. You need to brace yourself for that. Okay, so that question, what song do I want to be remembered by? I promise you this is not a cheesy answer. I hope it's a right one. I don't want to be remembered by a song. I like to be remembered by, you know, hey, he's a guy that loves God and loves his family. Did he write music? Oh, maybe. I don't know. That's what I would hope. So there's the answer that makes people stop laughing. There you go.
All right. I'll second that. That's great. All right, we got a question here. Your name?
I'm Dusty from Charlottesville, Virginia. And I just have a general question, kind of linking up what the question was asked before about the military overseas and such, with kind of a lack of participation, maybe support from the secular entertainment industry going over there. Do you know of anything specifically that Christian artists are doing for our military?
Third Day just got back from Iraq. They flew into Kuwait and went to all the different army bases, and they actually went and ministered to the troops, did a concert there. It was phenomenal. I mean, they flew in with the soldiers, they put on the gear, they went out there, and I know that it probably hasn't gotten a lot of press, but just, I know these guys probably had a lot more to speak into that, but I know they just got back like last week from Iraq, singing to the troops and ministering to them, and just being with them and eating with them, and sleeping in a tent at the army base, and just going three-dimensional, you know, and yeah, definitely. But and also, no, I think like
You have it ready by 5.
That cartoon song by Chris Rice. It might be I wish it were that easy.